let's just go ahead and get started. So welcome to today's webinar. My name is Manny. I work here on the implementation team. And as I said, today's implementation webinar is going to be about Blackboard. So essentially how to get the common cartridges up and running for your course so that your students as well as yourself are able to play the simulations for the course, for the grades, really however you are going to use it throughout your curriculum this semester. But it's just going to be basically a walkthrough of how to get those up and going, some of the support, and some information about the best practices, so the do's and the don'ts. So let me go ahead and get started by sharing my screen. I think you guys can all actually see it, which is fantastic. So let me just present. Perfect. So today's agenda really is what to expect, overview of the integration process, Blackboard simulation, upload the demonstration. So I'm just going to show you exactly how it works through a video, Labster support overview, some of those best practices that I had mentioned, as well as some questions and answers that you might have towards the end. So feel free to raise your hand, ask those questions in your little box at any time, and then I can just get to those at the end. But yeah, so what to expect through the overview of the integration process. So once you guys are up and ready to go with Labster, sorry. You will, of course, have signed this order form, contract, everything's up and going, ready to go, ready to get some information from your implementation. You'll go ahead and meet myself or somebody else on the implementation team, and I'll introduce you to who they are in a second. But after that, it'll just be a Blackboard integration process. So what I would normally do is schedule a training with you, the main contact, and teachers as well, get you guys up and running, answer any questions that you have so that you are ready to go with your students. We'll download some chosen simulations together or on your own. It really is however you'd like to do it through our onboarding training. We'll upload those simulations as well. And then after our onboarding process is complete, you will be handed off to a customer success manager, and essentially you will still have me throughout your contract or however long you are with us. So feel free to reach out to me at any time, or any of your implementation managers at any time, as well as your customer success manager. We're definitely here to help you, but just because you are kind of handed off to a customer success manager doesn't mean I'm not here to help, but they will be the main point of contact. But of course, as I said, your implementation manager will be there to help you at any point, so don't hesitate to reach out to them. So some of the implementation managers, as well as myself, we have Sue, who is our team lead, and then you have Sean, Cole, Victoria, Maya, Danielle, Drew, myself, Andres, and Joanna. And we are all here to, of course, assist you throughout your process with us. So don't hesitate to reach out to us. We're all a fun bunch, and we are definitely excited to get you up and running. So what really to expect through the Labster and connecting with the Labster or Blackboard simulation really is you will receive a link or URL to a faculty resource page. It'll look something like this. Where you will actually have access to a getting started page. Essentially, if you've never used Labster with us before, or a bit curious, or want to know how it really works, there is going to be a little video on that page under the tab 1 that says getting started. And yeah, it'll just be a little video giving you an introduction of what Labster is, what to expect, how to use us, as well as a little bit about the faculty resource page. So feel free to have a look at that if you have not ever used us, or even if you have used us but you just want to familiarize yourself again. You'll also have another tab called simulations, and this is where you'll have access to all of the whole course catalog, really, of all of the simulations that you are able to access. You can actually play simulations yourself as a teacher. You can look at some of the theories there, the synopsises, see the quiz questions and answers. as well as lab manuals, lab reports, anything with translated simulations. So for those who are essentially not within an English-speaking country, you may have some translations for some of the simulations that may have access to. So feel free to look at that there. As I said, lab manuals will be a really great tool for you to use there as well, just because it is basically a document based on the theory synopsis of a simulation that you will share with your students. So feel free to look at that, download that, use it with your students. You are able to actually edit it as well, so you can download it as a Word file and basically add some more theory, add some more synopsis, learning objectives, really whatever fits your curriculum and what you think might be missing from this. You are also able to take some information away, and then you can just share that with your students just to prepare them for these simulations, or even after the simulations, or just for them to, keep reading so that they can absorb this information for maybe, let's say, quizzes later on that you might test them on. You also have access to the lab reports, which are in there, and for those, it is essentially something you can share with your students right away, right before you assign them a simulation, and it'll just be some questions for them that they'll need to actually answer. So filling out which simulation is, what are the actual questions, what have you learned, what are the learning objectives from these. So essentially, it's kind of like a quiz in a sense. So feel free to use that as well. Everything under the third tab, which is the teacher dashboard, is also really important, I'd say, because it does give you a little bit about the getting started, what Labster is, what to expect. It also gives you some information about the access methods and how to use Labster and simulations. So LMS, such as, let's say, Blackboard is under there, and there you'll be able to see some information and guides on how to use Blackboard, how to upload simulations, how to get the LTI tool integrated with your Blackboard. That's going to be a little bit more technical and probably more so for your IT contacts. As well as your LTI admin. So that's something I would be sharing with them. But yeah, all of that's going to be under there. You can see some webinars as well, a lot of some case studies that are really good, minimum technical requirements. So if you're a little bit unsure, your students are a little bit unsure of, okay, is my computer going to be able to run these simulations without any errors or any issues, you'll have access to that, some student resources under there as well. So anything that's student resources, I would say feel free to share with your students. Everything else that is faculty resources, keep to yourself. And then you have the upload to LMS tab, which is where you will get those simulations. So download those common cartridges and you'll upload them to your course. So what I can do here is just briefly show you exactly what this is like. So yeah, you'll just do the Blackboard upload simulation tab, that's right there. But let me share my screen to something different. So essentially it'll look like this. You go to upload to LMS, you click add simulations to your LMS. Here is the area where you can actually click any of the simulations that are in the course catalog. So something that you would like to add to your course shell. So if, let's say, you're teaching, let's say, chemistry at the moment, you just want to add everything in chemistry, feel free to browse this catalog. And then what you see on the right-hand side of these simulations is an add button. So all you have to do is click add, and then what you'll see is on the right-hand side, they'll start adding up there. If there is one, let's say, that you added on accident and you would like to get rid of, there will be a little trash can next to that simulation that you added on the right, and you can just go ahead and click that and get rid of that. And then once you're ready with that, you click upload. You'll be then presented with this screen that says download common cartridge file, and you'll just go ahead and choose the correct LMS method or platform that you are actually using. And then once you have done that, so let's say Blackboard, you'll now see a download common cartridge file. So what you do is you'll click that, and then your bottom, let's say left-hand screen or wherever your downloads go, it'll pop up and it'll essentially be a zip file and it'll go down to your computer. So once you have done that, you'll then log into your Blackboard course if you have not already. And then this is the area where you will actually add this zip file or these simulations to your to your course. So what you'll do is you will import the package button, or yeah, import the package button, and then you'll select a package. So essentially you'll select that zip file that you have downloaded already. So it should be probably the very first file. You just double click it. Don't open it, just double click it. It'll go down here to the selected file, and you'll be able to see exactly what the zip is. Once you have done that, you will just go scroll down under to course materials, and then all you have to make sure is that the content areas is selected. And then once you have done that, all you will need to do is click submit, which will be in the bottom right corner. And then what I normally say is once you have done that, give it a couple seconds and then you refresh that page. And then now you will see that there will be a simulations tab for you to actually see the simulations that have downloaded to your course shell. So essentially they're going to be on the left-hand side right here. Here it says Labster simulations. And then once you've done that, you're able to actually do anything with the simulations. So you can edit them. So you are able to click on it. You'll click edit and then you can enable evaluation, meaning that these simulations will be graded for your students. So just ensure that that area is selected if you would like your students to be graded on this. You will also be able to see points possible, which will be one is what you select. And then once you're all done with that, you'll just go ahead and click submit. I always just say refresh the page again just to make sure everything's up and running. But essentially that is what you do. Everything will be up in your course shell, in your simulations, and then now you are able to assign it. Once you have assigned a simulation to your students, they will receive an email in their student email address saying, hey, your professor so-and-so has now assigned an assignment for you to complete. All they will do is go to their inbox, open that email, and it'll click on a link that is provided in that email, and it'll take them straight to that simulation that you have assigned with or assigned to them. Keep in mind the students' grades will not appear in your gradebook unless they have completed the simulations 100%. So just keep that in mind. So if your students had said, oh yeah, I completed this, but they didn't complete it 100%, just tell them to go back to that simulation, click resume until it actually says 100% complete, and then those grades will start populating within your gradebook and you will have access to see all of that. You will also be able to see so if you essentially get lost on how to do all of this, you will be able to see all of this, as I said, in the faculty resources page. And underneath that teacher resources, you will have an area called Blackboard. And what it will look like is there'll be some instructions for you to look at, and it'll look exactly like this. So instructor, how to add Labster simulations to your Blackboard course. And what you'll do is just go ahead and open it, look at this and see the prerequisites, ensure that the LTI settings have been complete. Normally, by the time I send over all of this information, as well as, or any of your implementation managers send over the implementation instructions for you to continue and add these common cartridges to your course, the LTI tool has been integrated. But if you're still a little bit unsure, feel free to reach out to your admin and just double check. But that will all be here, and then you'll be able to see the step-by-step instructions. They're like little videos, but it's basically exactly what I just showed you in that video. Is logging into Blackboard, going to the course management, packages and utilities, importing that package from that zip file that you have downloaded, going to that course materials section, selecting content areas, checkbox, make sure that that is on, press submit, and then as I said, after a few seconds, always refresh the page just to ensure that it has gone there, and it will appear on your left-hand side. And then, as I said, if you'd like to update the simulation settings to ensure that the grades are going to be sent to your dashboards, you just need to go into the simulation one by one, and then you just go click ahead, edit, and then there'll be an enable evaluation, and then yes, you select yes, points possible, visible to students, yes, open in a new window, yes. This is of course going to be critical so that the Labster simulation opens in a new window, and it allows your students to play this. Of course, let your students know to once that this new window has opened and the Labster simulation is loading, is to stay on that page. We want to make sure that there aren't going to be any loading errors or any kind of stalling with the loading. So just ensure that that window is the only one open, and then permit users to view content, click yes, and you should be good to go. As I said, click submit, and then I always just say refresh the page, make sure everything's good to go. And if you have more than one simulation, just repeat the same process for all of the simulations that you would like to essentially be graded on. But you will have access to all of this in that teacher dashboard page. In your faculty resources page, there will be a FAQ and help center section area as well. And you'll be presented with some of the help stuff. Essentially, it'll look just like this. And then you'll have access to all of these. You'll find some information, type in some keywords, help you find some articles that might benefit you if you get stuck. There's going to be some student resources, teacher resources, LMS integration resources. So this is where you'll find all of that Blackboard stuff. So feel free to have a look at that. If you have not received your faculty resources page, if you're still a little bit confused on how it works and you would like a walkthrough, then I would say the best thing to do is to reach out to your implementation manager or your customer success manager, and they will of course send over all of the information that you need, and they will also be able to schedule any type of training, any videos, any meetings that's going to be essential for you and your faculty members to get you guys up and running for your semester, and letting your students being able to play these Labster simulations on time and accurately. So that is really just it with the Blackboard demonstrations. So a little bit about the support and resources. So if you have any questions, if you are stuck, not able to get a hold of your implementation manager or your customer success manager, you are more than welcome to always visit, as I said, the help.labster.com for support articles and a live chat. So you'll be presented with those articles that I briefly just showed you. And then yes, at the bottom right-hand corner, you will always see a blue bubble, and you can click that and it will take you to a live chat with one of these support agents. Our support hours are 8 a.m. to 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Times. That's Eastern American Standard Time. So if you are trying to use the live chat at a time that they are not available, they will get to you as soon as someone gets on, but you are also more than welcome to email our support team as well at support@labster.com. But yeah, if you would like to just kind of get in touch with someone really quick, you have an urgent issue, then I would say the live chat is probably going to be best. But keep in mind, you always do have an implementation manager and a customer success manager who might be able to assist with helping as well. Some of the best practices are using a laptop or desktop computer. So currently at the moment, laptops and desktop computers are the only way to use Labster simulations. So using a tablet or any other devices such as smartphones, iPads, things like that are not going to be usable. Using Firefox is definitely recommended for these simulations, but Chrome is also something that's available or that works well with these simulations. So these are probably going to be the two that we recommend you to use. Any of the other browsers such as Safari, Internet Explorer Edge, these don't really work. So keep in mind to always use Firefox and Chrome. For those who have a MacBook, you're more than welcome to still use that, even though that is Apple and they do have Safari. But just make sure that you have Firefox or Chrome downloaded as a browser to use on your Mac, and everything should be fine. If you're still a little bit unsure on some of these technical requirements and you don't know if your computer is going to be able to essentially run these simulations, you can always use that teacher resources tab in the faculty resources to actually go ahead and check to see, the system requirements and to run your system to see if it actually works. What I like to usually compare it to is if your computer can run a YouTube video or let's say a Netflix video, then you should be completely fine running these simulations. Um, Closing other websites or close, other websites and software is probably something that's really good advice, especially when you are uploading a simulation and you're getting ready for that to load to 100%. Having some other websites and other software and browsers running in the background can potentially delay this simulation for you to get up and running. So I would probably say don't ensure that this is not happening. And then, as I said earlier, once you have that Labster simulation loading window open, don't leave that page, just leave it up and running until it hits 100%. And then once you've hit 100%, just go ahead and click start. And then that just ensures that it loaded successfully and that you didn't have any issues at all. Wait until the simulation loads to 100%. So yes, just another important thing, as I just said, is we're letting it load to 100% is really vital because clicking away can just cause some loading issues and some problems. So are there any questions at this time? You're also more than welcome to always send me an email at winkler@labster.com or contact any of the implementation managers that you have or your customer success manager, or as I said, support@labster.com as well. But yeah, I am more than happy to answer any questions at this time if there are any. Let's see. All right. Any questions at all? I don't see any coming in yet. So hopefully this has been really clear, but feel free to, yeah, answer any questions that you have now. As I said, I'm here to help. But if you can't think of anything right now, of course, you are more than welcome to reach out via my email at any time, and I'll do my best to answer any questions that you might have. Okay, one question. I did one of the lab simulations and there seems to be a glitch. Perfect. Um, yeah, so sometimes I have seen that there might be some glitches going on. I think the best thing to do is what you can do is send me an email about this specific simulation. So for anyone who maybe runs into glitches or loading areas with simulations, I think the best thing to do is to reach out to support or myself or one of the implementation managers and provide us with as much detail as possible. Sometimes it can be a cache issue. So what I always say is if you're experiencing any type of technical errors or glitches, the best thing to do is probably clear your cache and then restarting your browser. A lot of times that does fix a lot of issues, but if you're still experiencing a glitch per se, then yeah, reaching out to myself, one of the support managers or one of the implementation managers, describing the issue and sending the exact simulation that has this error, as well as any screenshots, will definitely help. And it's something that we can look into. And maybe it was just an error at the time. But yeah, I think the best thing to do is just to reach out to one of us with that kind of information. So screenshot, and especially more importantly, the simulation name and exactly where the glitch is, because of course we want to ensure that these simulations are running smoothly and making this a really good experience for everyone, as well as not just your students, but as well as the professors who are applying. So if you could please send me an email about this specific glitch with the name of the simulation and a screenshot if you have that. If you don't, that's fine. But yeah, specifically the simulation name and exactly where the glitch is. And then yes, I can always pass that on to the correct colleagues to have a look. Any other questions? No questions? All right. Well, as I said, feel free to reach out to your implementation manager or your customer success manager at any time if you do have any questions, as well as reach out to the support team at support@labster.com, or feel free to use that blue live chat bubble button at the bottom right corner of every Labster page, and that'll take you directly to a live agent if you have any questions at any time. Hopefully this was very useful and explained how to actually get Blackboard up and going with your simulations. And I really hope everyone has a wonderful semester, but don't hesitate to reach out to us. We are here to help you and your students at any time. So if there are no questions left, I hope everyone has a wonderful day, and thank you for joining this lovely webinar. And yes, bye.